a while since I had back to back videos the same night. I wish I could say it was for a positive reason, but unfortunately it's not. And you probably already have seen the heartbreak of this news from James Gunn. And earlier in the past few days, in the past week or so, I have actually been trying to be as optimistic as possible because James Gunn has been shooting down a bunch of rumors and saying that he likes Henry Cavill as Superman and all of this. But then now he tweets probably the worst thing that he could have said for fans. He said, Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. What we all wanted to hear, right? But just don't get excited because in the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. But we just had a great meeting with Henry and we're big fans. And we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. What? You he just announced his return a couple months ago. Like okay, really? Um and people asking, being a part of the slate, I assume it's a movie. He says yes. Someone asked, are you writing/directing? He said, I am writing and have been for a while. We don't know who is directing yet. Another person said, please tell me this isn't an origin movie, and he said, no way. Someone asked, could Ben Affleck direct? And he said, met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project. Needless to say, this is a huge shock. It wouldn't have been a huge shock if they had not allowed him to return in Black Adam. And then announce his return on Instagram, go on a whole press tour for Enola Holmes 2 and talk about Superman as if it was a Superman press tour. Have Dwayne Johnson still continuing to talk about bringing Superman back. Um, it's a huge shock. I am absolutely disappointed. I am so done. Like, this is just. He said we had a meeting and they're big fans. Really? Why aren't you giving him. Why? This is the worst decision they could have possibly made. Henry Cavill posted on Instagram something he's never said before, a very definitive statement, and it does not really completely match up with what James Gunn said. He said, I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around, everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. James Gunn said in his tweets that they talked about exciting possibilities for the future. Henry Cavill does not say that at all. He says, I will not be returning as Superman. My turn to wear the cape has passed. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit. Like, he just doesn't say that. It doesn't mean that, perhaps James Gunn and Peter Safran said, we would love to work with you in the future. Okay, you can say that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And obviously, he left this meeting feeling like, this is it. I'm not going to be Superman anymore. He has never said anything this definitive all these past years of him not getting a Superman movie, not returning as Superman. He has always said in interviews, I'm waiting. I would love to be Superman again. I'm waiting for the call. The cape is still in the closet. He always said things like that. Even all the years Dwayne Johnson said, it was always a no, and they were definitely not going to bring him back, the old leadership. Even through that, he still never said anything like this about not coming back as Superman, or that it was this, a definitive thing. So obviously, this meeting, that's what he got from that. That's what he got from this meeting. And it seems like James Gunn's tweet is like sugarcoating it and making it seem like, oh, don't worry, we talked about working with him in the future. How would that even be possible if he's not gonna be Superman? If you're gonna do a movie that is Superman in the earlier part of his life, but not an origin movie, just a younger, I don't know, whatever. If you're gonna do that with someone else who's not Henry Cavill, what could you possibly do with Henry Cavill in the future? He has to be Superman. Well, I don't know if I don't know. Yes, there's multiverse situations. You could have different versions of Superman, but that doesn't mean you don't bring back Henry Cavill and give him another movie. Just like they said, that's what came out right after his return in Black Adam. And like I said in my earlier videos, the reason I was not worried about Henry Cavill with these rumors coming out is because I knew that he had to have had approval from the studio to make that announcement and to be talking about it publicly. He's not just going to go do that. Even though they let him film the Black Adam scene, they're not going to let him make that kind of announcement and go talking about it on his press tour without having approval from the studio. So, and he says that here. After being told by the studio to announce my return. Prior to their hire, James Gunn and Peter Safran were not in charge yet. But they had to have, but okay, that was only like a month before they were actually put in charge. It was right before, it was like right before that we found out publicly that James Gunn and Peter Safran were going to be co-CEOs of DC Studios. And then they officially were put into that role on November 1st. That does not mean that they weren't already talking and planning things before that, because they already knew that they were going to be in those positions. So Michael DeLuca, Pamela Abdi were the ones who gave the green light for Henry Cavill to film the scene in Black Adam. I don't understand. Like, they had to have, did they not know that James Gunn and Peter Safran didn't plan on moving forward with Henry Cavill? Were they just trying to get more money for Black Adam? Did they just have no idea? I mean, how did they not know? I don't know. I don't know. But if you're Henry Cavill and this happens, how do you not feel used by like the studio? I'm not saying that's what they did, but you would feel that way if you were in his position, because this is humiliating. Like, after all these years of being just no, 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 and then finally they just went to the new leadership. They gave him the okay, allowed him to announce his return, and then now this happens. What do you mean you're going to work with him in the future? On doing what? Whatever they decide to do with Superman, whatever support they had is done. Who is going to know? What has everyone been the most excited about? Henry Cavill coming back. What was everyone hoping for with Black Adam? To see Henry Cavill. We got that. He announced his return. He was so happy and optimistic and excited and couldn't wait to share more. And now it's just gone. I'm sorry, but the fans being upset about this, you can't just keep saying that the fans are toxic. Yes, some people take things too far, but the fans being upset about stuff like this is not being toxic, because this is just completely wrong on so many levels. It would have been, if they had done the faceless Superman cameo in Black Adam, and then this happens, it's still upsetting and annoying, but at least if we had that in Black Adam, we wouldn't have expected Henry Cavill to return, because we wouldn't have seen him in that movie. But having him come back in Black Adam, announcing his return, showing his excitement and talking about it, hearing how much Dwayne Johnson was so, like, they worked so hard to bring him back. Um, this just makes it 1,000 times worse that he's not going to come back because they already said he was and they allowed him to announce it. And now, no? Like, what? I'm sorry. Over these past, like, week or so, I have been optimistic. Even though I don't like James Gunn, I still was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I just wanted to see what was going to happen. And the fact that Henry Cavill came back, I was like, that's all I wanted to hear. I don't care what else they could have done. I just wanted to get another Man of Steel movie with Henry Cavill, and I don't care about anything else that they were going to do. Just give us that. Knowing that he came back, that Ben Affleck was going to be an Aquaman too, which who knows about that now? And now putting this together with what Patty Jenkins said in the statement that I read earlier in my other video, she said there was nothing that could have been done for her to move forward with a Wonder Woman 3 movie. That also makes you wonder what's going to happen with Gal Gadot, because if they weren't even willing to let her make, if she was willing to do whatever she needed to do to move forward with that movie, and they said that there's nothing she could do, what does that mean for her then, for Gal Gadot? So these movies coming out next year, Shazam, The Flash, Aquaman 2, this is not going to be good for those movies because fans are going to be checked out. How many years have we been going through this nonsense, and now we're trying to give new leadership the benefit of the doubt again? And they're like, oh, they brought Ben back. Oh, they brought Henry back. Oh, things are moving in the right direction. They pushed back The Flash, so that possibly means they're making changes. Well, now none of those movies are what? They're not going to matter because they're just going to completely do everything new? What, like, why are Shazam, The Flash, and Aquaman 2, why are they going to matter? And then he's coming out trying to, like, debunk these rumors saying that they're true, that they're not true, they're half true, we haven't decided on them. Okay, we're just kind of, like earlier in my videos, I feel kind of like bad for putting on my channel, like trying to be optimistic and say, like, no, he's debunking these rumors. We don't need to worry. All of this, there's no way they're going to do all of this. Well, I guess I was wrong. And he's still trying to sugarcoat it, making it seem like they want to work with him in the future. So I apologize because I was actually being optimistic, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and not thinking that all these rumors could possibly be true. And unfortunately, the absolute worst one that could be true, Henry Cavill. I don't know. I think they're going to lose their core fan base because of this. And not because fans are toxic, but because it's just the absolute wrong, worst decision you could make. And especially after letting him announce his return. That just makes it way worse. So the people like me who were trying to be optimistic, given the benefit of the doubt, I was actually happy about The Flash now and excited because I thought that meant that Superman was going to be there still, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Now that optimism for The Flash is gone. And I'm done giving him the benefit of the doubt because this is just, we're all going to be checked out. Like, done. And I've never really said that because it's just, no. So thank goodness we got Zack Snyder's Justice League because, like Zack said, the theatrical cut of Justice League would have been the last time we saw him. Henry Cavill as Superman. I just am so sad for Henry, all of them that worked so hard to bring him back, all of us fans who were so excited about this. But sad to say that I've been, all this optimism I've had over the past few weeks and not thinking that these rumors were anything to worry about, it just all of a sudden got shut down by this. And now it's going to be it's going to be pretty much impossible to feel optimistic about. They could announce some cool things, but knowing that Henry Cavill's not going to be a part of it, I'm sorry, but that is really hard to be optimistic and excited about. And I don't understand how they don't see that this is a horrible decision and just doesn't make any sense. And if he said he's been writing the script for a while, then obviously he knew if it's in an earlier part of Superman's life, obviously he had to know they're not going to be using Henry Cavill. So I don't know. It's just extremely disappointing. There's nothing that they could say that could make any sense, or make it okay. It's just not. It's just not. But Henry Cavill will always be our Superman. They can never take Zack Snyder's Justice League away from us. He will always be our Superman. And it's just really sad to have to be putting this on the channel because it's just not. Just did not want to. Like, there was just, I was so excited. So I apologize. But thank you guys for all of your support on the channel. And I do want to do more reaction stuff, like I said before. Unfortunately, this was a sad thing to talk about, but thank you guys for watching, and I guess we'll see you soon.